The Wrestling Exchange, episode 34. We're talking Raw, we're talking Royal Rumble, we're talking about possible surprise entries, we're talking about the road to WrestleMania. It's going to be awesome. And before we get started, I have to introduce my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Pablo.
Welcome back, everybody. We're excited for this show today. Let me tell you, this Raw was one of my favorites, and I'm ready to get into this. So, Ted, let's go ahead and get this ball rolling.
Well, before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of quick points, and then we can get all sorts of in-depth to our conversation. Now, this is the most insightful pro wrestling podcast on all of YouTube and all of the internet wrestling community, and just a few things. Listen, if you like what you see, what you hear, give us a like. That little thumbs up button, go ahead and click that. Share, subscribe, go to the Facebook page, tell your friends. It'll be fun. It'll be great. You'll be notified when we put up a new video. You can join the discussion, all sorts of good stuff. I don't want to put on too many plugs, but, it's this, if you're new, is a passionate conversation amongst wrestling fans. We're talking about the WWE. That being said, Pablo, I believe we are joined here tonight with a very special guest.
Yes, today we have the sensational Ali joining with us.
Hey, what's up, man? How's everybody doing?
It's going on. Now, we got a lot to talk about. What I want to do is I want to just dive right into Raw, and then we can kind of digest as we go. And then once we go through that, we can actually talk about the Royal Rumble and possible surprise entries and implications. Is everybody on board? Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Boom. So WWE Monday Night RAW, January 19th, 2015. Apparently it's the Martin Luther King Day edition of Raw. We're treated to a nice package of probably one of the greatest Americans that have ever lived. Raw was filmed live in Dallas, and our commentary team this week consists of Michael Cole, JBL, and Booker T. And this seems to be the new formula for the main roster. Now, Ali, I want to quickly pick your brain in just a few seconds. How do you feel this arrangement stacks up of Booker T, and Michael Cole, and JBL versus the same arrangement except Lawler in place of Booker T?
I like Booker T, but I don't think that the Michael Cole and JBL flow well with Booker T. I kind of think that having Lawler in there, they have that mesh, you know? It's like the Bruce Lee used to say, when you pour water into the cup, the water becomes the cup. When you pour water into the teapot, it becomes the teapot. Booker T just doesn't have it.
Ali, you just went deep. If I'm not mistaken, that's the is that not the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, right out of Enter the Dragon, if I may?
That's what I said, man. I'm taking it right from Bruce Lee's book, man.
Ooh.
God bless him.
Oh, yeah.
How about this one?
Yeah.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon.
So pay attention to the finger, or
Oh,
you miss
shit.
all the heavenly glory.
Listen, I don't want to get off track because this is
The
not
1-inch punch.
this is not a martial arts podcast. This is a wrestling podcast, a discussion amongst wrestling fans, very passionate about what's going on. So I do, as much as I love Bruce Lee and the way of the intercepting fist and all of that, I do want to keep it wrestling centric. That being said, here's a nice segue. Old school, we could say that Bruce Lee is old school, and this Raw is usually the old school Raw edition, except it's been given a rebranding, and it looks like every other week Raw, except it's the Raw reunion featuring a number of WWE legends. How do we feel just on the whole without getting into any of the actual details? Did we like this, or would we rather have the old school Raw back?
This Raw, I feel, was awesome. So I'm running with this one. Ali?
All right, well, I definitely have to concur. This Raw was very surprising, action-packed. It had the drama, it had the comedy, it had the mystery, and I kind of hope to see a lot more Raws similar to this.
All right, I can dig it. Now, speaking of Raw Reunion, it's going to feature a number of stars. We got Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Sean Waltman, a.k.a. X-Pac, as we discussed earlier before the show started, also known as the Lightning Kid and the 1-2-3 Kid. We got Billy Gunn, we got the Road Dogg, just to name a few. There's a couple more I don't want to spoil. I don't want to give it away. But we can say that the show starts with the Beast Incarnate, the Conqueror, the 1-21-1, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the defending and reigning champion, Brock Lesnar, and he comes out with Heyman, and he doesn't even let Heyman talk. He gets on the mic, and when Brock gets on the mic, Brock gets scary. Gentlemen, quick thoughts. Brock's mic skills are limited to basically MMA fight hyping. Did we enjoy this? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly?
It was interesting. I'm going to let Ali go first on the good, the bad, and the fugly.
Okay. Well, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Really, to be honest, when it comes down to it, a fighter, what does more? The talking or actually walking the walk? And I think in his mind, it doesn't matter how he talks. He can walk the walk. So, yeah, if he wants to say a few words, let him. But we all know in the end of the day, the Beast is going to do what the Beast does.
Damn straight. Papa, anything to add?
It was bad ass, if you will.
If you will.
So, basically continuing with that, Brock says his words, he speaks his piece, and Triple H, the chief operating officer of the WWE, basically he tries to console the Beast. And, of course, Seth Rollins appears in the Tron and just keeps poking that fucking bear, He just keeps giving him a... Papo, I forgot something. I forgot an important detail. This is a show where 4 little words and bad language flies. I forgot to tell the people that. I'm ashamed.
Don't be ashamed. We're excited for this show.
We are. Now, I'm just ashamed in my own lack of responsibility in bringing it up. Now, Brock, Triple H, Seth, this all goes back and forth, and basically it ends up where Lesnar asks, "Are you going to fix this, or are you here to fight?" And then, of course, Heyman tries to cool down Brock and beg him, like, this is our meal ticket, this is our way to go. Stephanie comes out, she tries to soothe the Beast. She also comes out with Kane and Big Show. And there's a lot of stuff said. And then, of course, Appledough, John Cena shows up. He says his stuff. And then blah, 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 blah. Then we're treated to something interesting. Triple H basically poses a situation where John Cena is given one more chance to win back the jobs of Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan, so long as he puts his shot at the championship at Royal Rumble at stake. And this actually goes into transition to a plug for the WWE app, where we're going to vote on this. Gentlemen, what did we think on the idea that should we be interested in John Cena risking his title shot in a chance to bring back the jobs of these 3 former employees?
Well, in traditional heel faction, I voted for him to not give up his title spot.
All right. Personally, I think that I voted for him putting up the title spot. I mean, ultimately, isn't that what a WWE superstar is supposed to do? Put it all on the line? Come on. That's what they're here for. That's what they're paid for. That's what people come to see. And I'm part of the people, part of the WWE universe, and, of course, that's what I want to see on a nightly, Monday night basis.
Boom.
Touche.
I like it. And it goes to further the fact that John Cena, even though he's terrible at making promises, because God knows he can't keep them, and he's not really the best friend to have in the wrestling business because, he doesn't rush to their aid, I liked it. I liked it because even though we all know that Brock Lesnar is walking out of the Royal Rumble as a champion, it's nice to add more doubt. But anyway, that all of the stuff that we just talked about was more than 20 minutes worth of talking as far as the segment goes. So, gentlemen, what I want to do is I just want to transition into the actual opening match of the show. actually a rematch of last year's Royal Rumble, if you will, between Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. I lost somebody.
I'm here.
You're here? Ali, are you here? You with us?
I'm here.
All right. So
I was waiting for Bumpo.
All right. Ali, you field this one first. Opening match, Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. Your thoughts?
I think it's a great match. I think both Bray Wyatt and Mr. Brand. Oh my God, am I having a fart? I think they both put it on the line. Daniel Bryan definitely puts it on the line, and I think it's really exciting to see. It gives you kind of a preview of what you could see during the Rumble. And it builds that storyline. So yeah, I'm all for it. I really liked it.
Papa, what'd you think about Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt?
Well, it was a nice rehash from that old feud they had a couple months back.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have Kane come in and just totally just interrupt the match, I mean, they're going to start a new feud between these two again. So I'm really not interested in the feud between Kane and Daniel Bryan. But, I mean, it started off strong until it was interrupted. So,
well,
I have to say about that.
So I'm gonna take a moment to give my 2 cents here. I liked it. I know there's a lot of trepidation amongst the internet wrestling community with the idea of Daniel Bryan going back with Kane, but in all reality, if you take a step back and you look at it from the way that the story is being presented to us, Daniel Bryan has He has bigger fish to fry, but Kane is the first one on his plate because they're trying to kind of, I don't want to say bookend the story, but where the last time we saw Bryan, as far as an in-ring competitor, he was taken out by Kane. So I can understand why the WWE wants to either extend that rivalry or close that rivalry. The two have a lot of history. In all honesty, anything with Daniel Bryan and Kane, I think, is second to their stuff as Team Hell No, because that was some of the most entertaining stuff I've seen on WWE television in years. But I want to talk about the absolute brutal match that Daniel Bryan had. I also want to talk about, in fact, here's our first question, or here's our next question, rather. Is it just me, or does Daniel Bryan seem noticeably smaller, like he's lost muscle mass? Whoever wants to go first, go ahead and take that.
I will definitely agree with you. He does look a little bit more thinner. Part of that could be because he's been out of the game how many months. That can happen to any type of athlete. You leave, the type of diet that he's on. He's a vegan, if memory serves me right. They're not about taking on the mass intake in protein to build up that muscle mass constantly. When they have an injury, it takes a little bit longer to build that up again.
Papa?
I'm in total agreement. He looks so much smaller and thinner. But from that opening match, he looked like he hasn't lost a step.
So let's talk about that. Because I saw him, I actually watched SmackDown this past week only because he was going to be there, which was smart, because they're promoting the move of SmackDown on Thursdays. And I got to say that in his first match with Kane on SmackDown, Thursday, he looked really good, but you could definitely see, I'm not sure if it was ring rust per se, or if maybe it's better to say his timing was a little off, or he seemed a little hesitant. But after a few minutes, he was balls to the wall, really good on that. Now this match he had with Bray was just, in my mind, fucking brutal. I mean, this was killer, and I loved it. And Daniel Bryan coming back, I've also noticed that there has been a slight change in his moveset. He didn't do the missile drop kick for the top. He didn't do the flying headbutt. These are things that I like because I don't want him to push too hard too fast and re-injure himself. But here's a question. How healed is Daniel Bryan, and how hard are we being worked right now? Because there was a clothesline that Daniel Bryan took from Bray Wyatt in this match that I was legitimately worried because it was disgusting. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Go ahead, Ali.
Well, I really think that whenever you come back from a serious neck injury or any type of serious injury, if you want to call it, you're going to have that hesitation, and there's going to be that moment in time when you actually take a hit like that, and it makes you for a second stunned, like, am I okay? You're going to have it. But, I think this is something you really need, especially right before the Rumble, to really, get those cobwebs and those kinks out of the way so you can really get ready for the grind. And I think this is something that he knows in his mind he truly needed.
Papa?
Honestly, I wasn't worried. I remember that clothesline that you mentioned, but I wasn't really worried. I mean, because these guys are trained professionals, and if they didn't believe that he would be okay, he wouldn't have taken that bump. So I wasn't worried too much, but I mean, he did sell it really well.
All right. Now, what I also wanted to add is that Papa was correct. There was a point, it's maybe only about a minute and a half into the match where Kane comes out, and basically the match comes to an end where Kane attacks from behind, and he rolls Bryan into the ring, and then Bray Wyatt wins with his sister Abigail, and afterwards, after the match, Kane chokeslams and assaults Bryan. So one last question regarding this match before we move on. It's his first match back on Raw in about 8 or 9 months. Is it a good or a bad thing that he lost this match? Should he have won?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say he should have lost this match.
Ali?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think he losing the match does a lot for, it actually kind of helps him as an athlete figuring out what his different weaknesses still are, what he may need to work on. But if you're talking about, is your question more storyline based, or what exactly are you asking?
More storyline based. Like, is it a good or bad thing that his first match back on Raw he lost? Like, in a perfect world or in an ideal situation, should Daniel Bryan have won his return match, or does him losing only further the Daniel Bryan saga?
Okay. All right. Just wanted a clarification. I really think that it's good that he lost. I think it adds more to the storyline. I think it'll also create excitement with doubt at the same time to the WWE Universe.
Now, we were also shown throughout the night, speaking of the WWE Universe, Twitter, and what I like to call is Twitter kayfabe. In a sense, they're pretending as if this is legitimate. And look, I'm not putting down wrestling. I've been watching it literally more years than I have not in all my life, and it's in my opinion the coolest thing ever, honestly. But I mean, we can all admit in 2015 that I don't want to say contrived, but it's predetermined. But injury is a real factor. But when they do this Twitter thing, we all know that Rowan, Ziggler, and Ryback were not really fired in all reality, but they seem to be perpetuating that storyline on Twitter and acting as if it's legitimate. This form of kind of working the audience through, like, for lack of a better word, Twitter kayfabe, is this good or is this just cheesy and corny?
I kind of like it, dude. It gets the people more interaction with the WWE Universe. I mean, the Twitter, the WWE Network, it gives a voice to the universe.
Ali, your thoughts?
I definitely agree. It does give a voice to the WWE Universe. One thing I will say, and any person that works in major publicizing or any type of press type of environment, they're going to tell you the best way to make something big is bring out the humanity in the situation. And what they're doing is bringing those wrestlers closer to the people and bring them down to their level of life. And I think that really helps out the show. It helps out the WWE Universe. It helps out the excitement of what wrestling is. And most of all, as the Authority likes to say, it's best for business.
I can dig it. Now, speaking of best for business, we get a backstage scene with basically the outsiders Scott Hall and Kevin Nash bump into Triple H. They ask him to basically drop the corporate suit gimmick and come out and join them in the ring. And then HBK shows up, and then Damien Sandow shows up because they're asking, where's X-Pac? Damien Sandow comes into frame, and he starts doing he comes in crotch chopping. And I want to get your thoughts because, honestly, for the first 10 seconds, I legitimately thought, wow, X-Pac looks really good, before I realized that was not X-Pac, that was Damien Sandow. Gentlemen, how do you think he fared as far as miming or mimicking or being the X-Pac stunt double?
Go ahead, AJ.
All right, man. Well, I really think that Mizdow was amazing, and you agree. He had me fooled for 10 seconds also. But I will say that I really think it's time for Mizdow to get rid of the Miz, man. I think the Miz is like really dragging his story, and he needs to cut that rope and take it to the roof, man, because he has so much potential. It just really sucks they haven't paired with Miz.
Papo, before you respond, I'm going to phrase a question right here, right now, because you and I have been talking about this in terms of Damien Sandow in the long run. Damien Sandow, Royal Rumble 2015. Are we at the end of the Damien Sandow and Mizdow connection? Are we near the end of their friendship?
No, I see they pushing this for another few months.
After WrestleMania.
Past WrestleMania, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys think that Mizdow, the character of Mizdow performing based on other superstars, do you think this is still good? Do we think has it run its course? Is it out of steam, or are we still good for that?
No, we're still good, dude.
Ali?
Definitely. I think he should continue what he's doing. I think it's amazing. I just, as a personal note, I think that the Miz and Mizdow thing needs to kind of go its way. But I still love him impersonating anybody he wants. I think he's really good at it, and I really enjoy what he brings to the table when he does that.
Now, I'm just going to keep this ball rolling if you gentlemen don't mind. Basically, Miz comes into the segment, and he says Damien Sandow is his stunt double. And then we're treated to the Royal Rumble Legends panel, which featured Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, HBK. Byron Scott basically asked them if John Cena should risk his shot at the title to win back those jobs. Shawn Michaels says yes. Flair says no. Hogan says definitely yes. They also talk about these legends as picks for winning the Royal Rumble. HBK goes out on a stretch as basically picks a dark horse in Bray Wyatt. Hogan suggests Daniel Bryan, and Flair Dean Ambrose. It's funny to me because I almost expected Hogan just to blindly back Cena because he does that. And it's not too much longer into the segment before the Big Show basically crashes the party, and he says there's no one to throw him over the top rope in the Royal Rumble, which is kind of hilarious because less than a year ago, if anybody remembers, gentlemen, I'm sure you do, that Cesaro picked Big Show up practically in the middle of the ring, walked his giant fucking ass to the ropes, and then put him over the top rope and basically set him down on his feet. So I don't buy the idea that Big Show is non-eliminatable, if those are words. Your thoughts?
I definitely agree. I think he's eliminatable. I've seen him thrown over the rope a few times. So yeah, I just think that's a bunch of BS personally.
Papo, it's a little bit of a hard sell on Big Show's part because he's never been eliminated. Excuse me, he's never won the Rumble. So I'm going to rephrase the question for you. Big Show has never won the Rumble, ever. The fact that he's never won the Rumble, should we even bother to suspend disbelief that he could win? Because nobody can lift me, nobody can pick me up. Roman Reigns picked him up 2 weeks ago. John Cena picked him up a month ago and 100 other times. Is this nonsense or what?
Complete nonsense. I mean, the Big Show right now, he's just out there for mic time, which is starting to annoy everybody.
Listen, you want to hear a secret? I say you should replace JBL with Big Show and just have him be the heel-skewed commentator. Now, I want to tag on this because I want to keep this moving in the interest of time. So I'm going to go back to you, go to you first, Papo, and then back to Ali. Reigns comes out after the Big Show punches Ric Flair. As Ric Flair starts doing the woo woo and strutting, he gets the KO punch from the Big Show, and then of course Roman Reigns comes out, asks the legends if Flair is okay. Before he gets involved with Big Show, shouldn't Triple H, or not Triple H, shouldn't Hogan or at least Shawn Michaels have been able to do something, or did they just come across as bitches? Papo, you first, and then Ali.
Okay, Hogan and Shawn Michaels came off like bitches, more Shawn Michaels than Hogan. If you noticed, when Flair was taking his jacket off, doing his little strut, Shawn Michaels was hiding behind Hogan, which I was laughing my ass off.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. Shawn Michaels was hiding behind Hogan. Hogan actually at one point drops the mic and was starting to flex up like he was going to get in his face. So you're right. They both were bitches, but to be honest, Triple H was the bottom of that pole.
Now, speaking of bitches, Roman Reigns comes out. I'm waiting for my heat from Papo.
Dude, you lagged on me. I was waiting for a smart remark, and I was going to jump right in and super punch you through this webcam.
Well, what I said was, speaking of bitches, Roman Reigns comes out, doesn't say a single word to Big Show, gets right into his face, and proceeds to basically beat up on Big Show, bounce him out of the ring, and then Big Show leaves cowardly. We've been discussing about Reigns being the type of character that should speak softly and carry a big stick. You know, he doesn't have to vocalize all that much. So I asked both of you gentlemen, was this not the perfect use of Roman Reigns?
Excellent use of Roman Reigns. Played to his strengths. AJ?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely think it fits his character as well, and very good use. Not to backtrack to what we were talking about before, but we talked about Big Show getting lifted up. If memory serves me right, Lesnar picked up Big Show last night on Monday Night Raw too, didn't he? He
did. The spoilers. Yeah. You're getting ahead of us.
Sorry, we talked about it, but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So I'm just gonna, in the interest of time, keep this ball rolling. Renee Young and John Cena are backstage. They're having an interview, and it's revealed that 85%, the WWE app vote comes in, 85% of the WWE universe say that he should risk his title shot for a chance to bring back Rowan, Ziggler, and Ryback. Now, flash forward, we get a match. The Intercontinental Champion, Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because there is a lot of stuff to cover, as all of you gentlemen know. But quick thoughts, starting with Ali and then the Papo. What did you think about Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose?
It's good. It was good. I don't think it was Dean Ambrose's best work, and I don't think it was Bad News Barrett's best work either. I really like what I see when Dean Ambrose puts it all on the line. You know, no holds barred, anything goes, the craziness. That's what I'm all about. and I hope to see that coming up this Sunday as well as in the future.
Papa, before you answer, I want to piggyback on what Ali just said, so I'm going to rephrase the question for you. Who's got better chemistry with Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose or Sheamus? And then you can also answer the same question.
Okay. Well, I believe that Sheamus has better chemistry with Bad News Barrett. I mean, they have a nice flow, and they actually can make each other look well. The person that I feel right now works well with Bad News Barrett would be Ziggler.
Hey, wait, hold on. Before you go any further, Ziggler could work well with a broomstick. I mean, I think, and I don't want to stomp all over your comment, but like, I think that's a massive understatement. Like, anybody can work really well with Ziggler.
I will have to agree with Ted here. If you just turn Ziggler upside down, I mean, him and the broomstick will have a lot in common.
I don't get it. I'm half drunk. Full disclosure. Scott's honor.
Okay. Dolph Ziggler, hair, long, turn them upside down. They both look like brooms.
Papo, does Dolph Ziggler look like an upside down broom?
With dirty roots.
Boom! Boom! Now, I do want to keep this ball rolling, so in the interest of time, Dean Ambrose beats beats Bad News Barrett. I've been seeing so many Wyatt Ambrose matches. He beats Bad News Barrett with a double arm DDT, what Michael Cole now deems the dirty deeds, and he's got a win over the Intercontinental Champion. Yes or no, both gentlemen, just yes or no. Shouldn't this make Dean Ambrose #1 contender for IC title?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. We're shown that the Dallas Cowboys are sitting front row. We get a video package about the Royal Rumble going over all the wonderful statistics. And I got to say, I love those video packages every year because they really do come up with new stuff. Then we get New Day. They come down to the ring. They cut a promo, and we're treated to Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, which is they're actually accompanied by both, Natty Neidhart and Adam Rose versus the team of Big E and Kofi, accompanied by Xavier Woods. Now, gentlemen, before we get into it, because I really don't want to spend that much time, so I'm just going to run through the order of events here. Basically, Cesaro does a stalling vertical suplex, which ends up being like one-handed for, it seemed like 45 to 60 seconds before he tag teamed Tyson Kidd in. Tyson Kidd sort of did a flying cross body. They did a Cesaro swing where while Cesaro was swinging the guy around, Tyson Kidd drops him. Now, ultimately, Kofi wins with a roll-up, and I'm going to say here that the New Day needed a win here. But correct me if I'm wrong. Is it just me, or is it that Tyson Kidd and Cesaro could be the new tag team as far as their ability to work together and mesh their styles? First Ali and then Papa.
Yes, I really think that they do have a great chemistry together, and I think they can take that very far and maybe even, like you said, the new tag team champs. I'm not so sure how Adam Rose works into the whole thing, though.
Papa?
They look promising. They got potential. I'm loving the big swing with the clothesline. It could be a formidable tag team. For holding gold is yet to be determined.
Fair enough. I think these guys are dope together, and I think WWE would have to be out of their fucking mind not to put them together, because those guys could have, because the Usos have matches with whatever the tag team of du jour is for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. If anything, I want to see the Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I think they would fucking destroy it. Now, New Day gets the win, which they so desperately need, and we get a reunion of the NWO Wolfpack. The bad guy, Scott Hall, takes a survey. Quick question. Is it just me, or were the Wolfpack drinking earlier? Because it seemed that they might have had a few.
Can I go first?
Do it.
All right, man. Come on, man. It's the Razor Ramon. If he doesn't have a drink and Coke in one hand, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's what he's known for. In fact, I think that's why he left for a while, was because of his liking to the juice, if you know what I mean.
Papo, your response?
Hey, yo. That bit was on point. I mean, it was great. And you know what? I bet you any kind of money they were drinking just to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they were. Is it just me, or was that when Scott Hall took that survey, the crowd kind of sucked? Did anybody else feel that, or am I alone in this?
He could have had a bigger pop.
I agree. I think he could have had a bigger pop. Part of it is I don't think the crowd or today's day and age really know all about the story of the NWO as much. You know, I think it's starting to kind of go its piece.
Those damn millennials. Now, Nash goes on to plug into the WWE Network. I kid, I'm a millennial. If you have a problem with that, fuck you. So Nash plugs the WWE Network. Pac starts to talk, and he's interrupted by the Ascension. Victor shoots on the Wolfpack. We get some "You Suck" chants, and he shoots on WCW. We get NWO chants, and basically, Connor and Victor are just mouthing off to the NWO. Now, what I want to point out here is that I don't think the Ascension is a bad tag team, but I think the problem is that they were doomed from the start, in the sense that they had something different in NXT, and I swear to you, it's not hard to believe that Vince saw them and said, "Ha, we could turn them into the new Road Warriors, ha, pal." You know, I totally see that's what happened, and he pulled them before they were ready, because the Ascension were not that great on NXT. They were just, and I wouldn't even venture to say that they're over with the NXT crowd, because the NXT crowd kind of chants excitedly at them. It's almost mocking. And now JBL steps away from the commentary table. He pulls off his shirt, and him and Ron Simmons, the APA, showed up. I was marking, damn. I was marking like a motherfucker, and I was jumping up and down on my couch. Question: how annoyed were your women when the two of you were jumping up and down on your couch for the APA?
My woman was, in the other room trying to watch Hulu, and she was telling me to keep it down.
Papo?
The wife was in the living room, and I was in my bedroom with the door closed, with my surround sound, so I didn't hear shit.
My wife didn't quite get it. Like, she sees me jumping up and down, and she's like, "Who are these people? I don't understand." And it makes perfect sense, because she's never seen the APA before. She never saw the conference room with the door, and everybody had to go through the door. One of my favorite things ever on WWE television. So not only is it almost the entire main participants of the Wolfpack NWO, the APA shows up, and oh, you didn't know?
You better call somebody!
The New Age Outlaws, they come out, they cut a promo. I was waiting for it's me, it's the DOGG, but we didn't quite get that. And basically, the New Age Outlaws, NWO, and the APA put down the Ascension. Now, I want to spend a moment or two here, because on the inside, I loved this segment because they beat the dog shit out of the Ascension. On the other hand, I didn't like it, because that means that the Ascension basically got bitched out. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Ascension, but it does them no good to be treated this way. And it is eventually announced, I'm going to give this away, spoiler alert, it's eventually announced that the Ascension will face the New Age Outlaws at the Royal Rumble. But without actually getting into the predictions for that particular match, was this positive or negative for the Ascension? Papo, you first, then Ali.
Well, as much crap that he's been talking, it only makes him fit the heel better. So I'm gonna go with it was a positive because then they know that the old school whipped them. They're gonna be even. It'll up that heel mark, if you will.
Ali?
Okay, well, I definitely agree. It will push them in the heel direction a lot more. I don't think it was a bad thing. I think it gives them more of a almost like a storyline for them to build off of. That's something when the Ascension showed up, the people were like, "Who are these goons?" You know, I mean, personally, between you and I think they look like a bunch of clowns. But I mean, honestly, people are like, "This doesn't make sense. Why are they on stage?" You know, and I think this will help them kind of build that storyline and start getting somewhere from point A to point B.
Okay, fair enough. Personally, I didn't like it. Just because I feel like this doesn't help the Ascension unless they win that match. But in the interest of time, like I've mentioned over and over again, we're going to keep this ball rolling. But ladies and gentlemen, if you see anything that you disagree with us, or if you wanted to add your comment, go ahead. Comment section down below. It's just a few inches south of your screen. Go ahead. Type on some stuff. Tell us how much you love us. Tell us how great my beard, awesome your shirt is, and that Papa looks like a WWE referee. Tell us whatever you think. Now, it's announced that John Cena's match will be against Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane. This is the match where he'll fight for the jobs of those three previously employed individuals. And then and I just want to take a quick detour here. We got Summer Rae and Alicia Fox versus Paige and Natalya. The Bella Twins joined commentary, which we were treated with some CM Punk chants. Ultimately, Alicia Fox taps out to Paige's PTO, which is that modified Scorpion crosslock. I don't really care for the opinions about this match, and I'm not saying that to be callous, but just because WWE really isn't doing anything to promote how awesome their divas are. So let's talk about that finishing move by Paige. AJ or Ali, how awesome is that move?
I think it was a really nice move, something different. I really like the types of different submissions we see, from her and like what we used to see. I think what is it called? The finishing move AJ does. I think it's showing you some diversity. It's not just about the power move. What's her name? The Divas champion. Their finishing move is not really a submission. It's more of like a backbreaker over the back. So it adds a little bit more flair, and I think that I like that. Different ways to win.
Papo?
That finishing move, I mean, no. No. It is such crap. I mean,
what?
she has to lock her own arms for it to actually look like it hurts.
Hey.
I mean, if she throws her arms up, her face will hit the mat, but yet she won't be in that move anymore. I mean,
Listen, you're in the danger zone right now. I don't want to hear you say anything negative about Paige, ever.
No, just that move is crap. I mean, her skill set is off the chain.
Nonsense.
Off the chizzy Farizzi.
Erroneous on all counts. That's the greatest submission ever made. We're going to ignore Papo's comment because he's being ridiculous. Racist Rusev.
Hey, Big Boo!
We got racist Rusev. He beats up R-Truth, and it's sad because R-Truth got to even rap and do his thing. And
was it his birthday?
Yeah, on his birthday.
He got his butt kicked on his birthday.
What Ron Killings got for his birthday was the disappointment of 318 million Americans as he tapped out to the accolade. I really don't want to spend any time on this. Gentlemen, quickly, your thoughts, 1 word or 2 words or less?
Or less.
Ali? Does that count as a word? I'm counting it. Seth Rollins bumps into the Beast incarnate Brock backstage, and the Beast tells Rollins that he should that Seth Rollins himself should take out John Cena so Brock and Rollins can get down and dirty. at the pay-per-view. We also get Jey Uso, accompanied by his twin brother Jimmy, versus Miz and Mizdow. Jey Uso wins with a Samoan splash. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about? Hopefully not, because this match wasn't all that great, and not because the competitors aren't athletic. It's just because there isn't much for us to be invested in. Your thoughts quickly, go.
Done.
Good. Backstage, Hulk Hogan endorses John Cena for the Royal Rumble win. Papo, 20 minutes earlier, didn't Hulk Hogan endorse Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble? Or am I just pissed drunk?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Boom. I'm not denying it. AJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, he did. It sounds, we'll see he's really endorsing.
Fair enough. Now, we move into the main event. So it's John Cena versus Seth Rollins versus Big Show and Kane. It's a 3-on-1 handicap tag match. Triple H and Stephanie are watching ringside. Of course, we have Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, a.k.a. J&J Security. They're also there to support Rollins as well. Now, basically, there's a spot where John Cena hits an attitude adjustment on Rollins, and he covers for a 2 count. Kane pulls him out of the ring. So the story that they're telling is that John Cena could have won that match. Now, Kane removes the top part of the stairs. Remember, they're in the top part and the bottom part. And doesn't the WWE want us to believe some nonsense like they're 700 to 1,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Yes.
I seem to remember them saying something like that at the TLC pay-per-view. So Kane removes the stairs. He gets the distraction by the ref. The ref's like, Kane, what are you doing? And Big Show spears John Cena on the outside while the ref isn't looking. To me, this was awesome, and I'm going to get your thoughts in a moment. But to me, this was awesome because this is classic wrestling heat. One guy distracts the referee. The other guy does some dirty shit. Then, of course, Triple H and Stephanie stand over Cena as the ref counts. They're mocking him. They're basically talking some old shit. And Cena basically rolls in just before the count of 10. So, like, at 9 3/4, Cena dives in the ring. He eats a choke slam by Kane, which gets a 2 count. And then the vigilante, Sting, shows up on the Tron. So before we talk about the actual finish of the match, gentlemen, were you expecting Sting to be here this close or within such a short proximity to the Royal Rumble?
I was totally surprised. Did not expect that whatsoever.
I agree. I wasn't expecting him to make his face be shown or anything until the Royal Rumble or another pay-per-view. I will say that I did expect someone to come out, but I didn't think it would be him.
Now, is it just me because this is a trick they did, and I don't know if the two of you watched the most recent NXT special, where in the main event they showed each competitor waiting on the other side of the curtain and then going through the curtain and then their music hitting. What seemed to happen here is that you had the camera was right on Sting, and I think JBL kept saying that it was a picture of Sting, and then the camera kind of pans out a little bit, and we see that Sting is just behind the curtain in what will be called the AKA the gorilla position, named after the late great Gorilla Monsoon, and then he basically comes on the ramp. And he's wearing, was it just me, or was he wearing Wolfpack red and black colors?
Wolfpack red and black.
Yeah, he was, with the red scorpion.
Stopping right there with the red and black. How awesome was that shit?
That was awesome. I was on board with that. And to have him come out to the ring was even better.
I was like this all night long.
What's the face you're making? I can't see it.
You don't know this symbol?
Oh!
Hair too sweet. So let's talk about that, right? Because Sting comes out, he's wearing the red and black, he's flying the Wolfpack colors, and then the motherfucker disappears because they cut to everybody around the ring, and the house lights go down, and all of a sudden John Cena rolls up Seth Rollins for the win, the 1, the 2, and the 3, while everybody's staring at the entrance ramp at Sting. And then right after that happens, Sting fucking vanishes. I don't even know how that happens. Does anybody remember how the hell Sting was like show up, he pointed, and then he was gone? Did anybody actually get a chance to see him leave?
Nope.
No, it was pretty awesome how he did it, though.
So Sting shows up, does the deed, distracts the Authority, which is we're gonna get Sting versus Triple H, and I can't wait. I think that's gonna be a killer match. I think that if all goes well, that's gonna be a candidate for Match of the Year for 2015. Now, moments later, after Sting's surprise disappearance, Brock Lesnar, wah wah, da 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 da. Brock Lesnar comes out and he spears Rollins, pretty much takes him with a double leg takedown. He F5s Kane, he F5s Big Show, and Brock Lesnar is standing tall, looking like a bad motherfucker. Your thoughts on the ending segment and how awesome Brock Lesnar came out?
I'll give you my thoughts. I thought that was awesome. I was hoping for it. To be honest, like we were talking about just a few minutes ago, I didn't expect Sting to come out. I ultimately thought that Brock Lesnar would run down there and actually aid Cena, to be honest.
Papa, are you still with us? Papo. All right. Well, Papa's gone. Hopefully he's going to come back into the video.
I'm back.
Oh, shit. I'm back and better than ever. Fucking Eric Bischoff, ladies and gentlemen. Papa, what'd you think about Brock Lesnar coming out and fucking...
Cleaning house.
Cleaning house, yeah. Give it to me. What do you think?
It was awesome. I mean, he went in there, he F5 Kane, he F5 Big Show, he F5 the referee and his mama. It was awesome.
Wait, he F5'd his own mama or the referee's mama?
The referee's mama.
No, he F5'd your mama.
Was this Charles Robinson? Who was this guy? I don't know. Nick Patrick? What? Who? Anyway, so Brock Lesnar stands tall, supreme as a fucking burrito from goddamn Taco Bell. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble in just a moment because that's basically the end of Raw, but I want to talk about the curse of the Royal Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been led to believe your lives that the number 13 is an unlucky number. I submit to you that 14 is the unluckiest, if that's even a fucking word, drinking, is the most unlucky number that one could draw. Gentlemen, do you have any knowledge about the curse of the number 14 in the Royal Rumble?
Please enlighten me.
Ali, you mind if I spend a few moments enlightening the general public?
Please do. Definitely.
Now, there's a lot of people that have drawn the number 14, so I'm only going to focus on a few. Starting with 1989 Royal Rumble. Marty Jannetty drew number 14, and for those of you watching who have been watching wrestling for the past 20-some-odd years, I really don't have to explain what happened to Marty Jannetty. 1996, Doug Gilbert draws the number 14, and a few years later, Gilbert joined a group known as Power Pro Wrestling in Memphis in July of '99, and basically he conducted a shoot interview where basically he said stuff on the reel, on the Lolo, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days, and he revealed to the audience that a man by the name of Brian Christopher, whom you may know as the Grandmaster Sexay, only was champion because his father, Jerry Lawler, was the owner of the promotion, and then he goes to accuse Randy Hales of smoking crack and suggests that Jerry the King Lawler, raped a 13-year-old girl. He failed to mention that the alleged rape victim recanted her story and that Lawler was cleared of all charges. But because of that, Power Pro Wrestling shut down in 2001. Some other notable people that have drawn number 14 in the Rumble: The Godfather, 2001. And I say this tongue-in-cheek because him drawing number 14 led to the disruption of, in my opinion, one of the most underrated stables in all of wrestling history. I'm talking about Right to Censor. I mean, I'm not alone, right? Right to Censor was amazing.
They were a decent heel group.
Nonsense. Come on, AJ, back me up on this.
I really no comment.
Listen,
Yeah!
I got two words for you. Bull Buchanan. That guy was awesome. Now, also Diamond Dallas Page drew number 14 in 2002. After multiple neck injuries, he had to retire for a couple of years. 2003, Eddie Guerrero.
God bless him.
He passed away just 2 years later after drawing number 14. 2004, Rikishi drew number 14 and then was fired the same year by WWE because he was too fucking fat. I'm not making this shit up. Joey Mercury, 2006, draws number 14, and we see the split of one of my more likable tag teams in the 2000s, Eminem, and that's only because Melina would do that thing where she would wear the thong and she would put it. I don't have to describe that shit to you. She was showing us her good
Actually,
stuff.
Ted, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you kind of show it to me, what you're talking about?
I'm not that flexible. I'm not that flexible. But basically, the whole split up of that team was due to Mercury failing a drug test for the wellness policy, and he was suspended. And then 2007, Jeff Hardy was number 14, to which he had to drop the IC title to Chris Jericho, and this was because this was his second failure in the company's substance abuse and drug testing policy, and that he was also removed from WrestleMania 24's Money in the Bank ladder match, which, irony, future TNA prospect Mr. Anderson, or Canada, was the one that won in place of Jeff Hardy. Of course, 2008, Umaga drew number 14. That same year, he would tear his PCL in August, and he was released for a violation of the wellness policy. Even though this was his only second failure, he refused to enter alcohol. His refusal to enter rehabilitation led to his dismissal. And then, of course, there's Finley, MVP, Vontavious Porter, Chris Masters, and Jinder Mahal. And goddamn, we all know what happens to the greatest faction in all of wrestling, the three-man band, baby! Lastly, we're rounding out the last two. Number 14 in 2014 was drawn by Rey Mysterio, and in 2013, which is hilarious because in the 2014 Rumble, he was booed out of the goddamn building. And lastly, leading to 2014, Kevin Nash draws the number 14, and then both him and his son were arrested on Christmas Eve due to a physical altercation and possible domestic violence. Is it safe to say, gentlemen, that number 14 is not that fucking lucky?
Not that fucking lucky.
No.
So, fun experiment. You can only pick one. Who's the one guy that draws number 14 this year?
I'm going to let AJ go with that one first.
Oh, man, really?
Who's the unlucky bastard? We need to know. Tell us. Give us all the brutal details.
All right, I'm going to give you somebody because he's hit rock bottom and he's climbed a little bit, but I still think he's hitting rock bottom again.
Hit me. Who you got?
If he comes back, Jack Swagger.
Ooh, I don't know. Jack Swagger's kind of a glorified job guy. Pop, your thoughts?
No, I really think, man, I think he's hit rock bottom. I don't think I can see him in any type of other angle, and the lisp and everything. I'm going Jack Swagger.
Listen, your pick is not bad. I have someone else in mind, but I'm just curious. Papo, Jack Swagger, number 14. Your thoughts? And if not, who would you pick?
Jack Swagger. I mean, that's I mean, I like AJ's argument, but for my pick for number 14, I'm gonna go with what's his
Can
name?
I buy you some time and I give mine and then you give yours? Because it seems you're still deliberating.
No, I have the wrestlers in my head. I just can't remember his name right now. That the whole Jack Swagger thing threw me for a loop.
Just
It threw me for a loop.
Maybe we can guess who it is. How big is his penis? Inches.
I don't know.
Is it Velveeta?
Hello, ladies.
The Velvosa.
Give me just a minute. I know exactly.
I'll go and then I'll come back to you. Oh man, alcohol. My pick is number 14 for this year's Royal Rumble. I'm gonna say Eric Rowan, because as talented as he is, he's always going to be overshadowed by the other members of the Wyatt family. And I think that if anybody's going to become overexposed and let go this year, it's going to be Rowan. Papo, you figure out anybody yet, aside from Jack Swagger?
Yes.
Boom, hit me.
Don't be 11. Be a rosebud.
Oh,
Adam
shit.
Rose.
No. Okay, fuck you.
Can I comment on both?
Do it. Permission granted.
I am going to comment on Ted's first. I completely disagree with you. You are so off on your decision.
Listen, you have the right to your opinion, but you're wrong. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I'm drunk and obnoxious. Go ahead.
I really think that Rowan has potential. I think he has a mystery behind him. You know, there's that thing about him being having a huge IQ and everything like that. I
don't want you to think that I think lowly of Eric Rowan. I think Eric Rowan is awesome. I just don't think out of the group he's the one that's going to get the rub. Like, as good as he is, I think he's so outshined by Bray and Luke Harper. Like, it does him no favor in the long run, maybe, him being in the Wyatt family, because once the Wyatt family's done being the Wyatt family, he's done being him. I think he's great. I just don't think that he stacks up to the other two members. But I'm sorry, you were saying?
Okay, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from on that, but I really don't think so. I think he's very well liked, and I think with that and what he brings to the table and his backstory line and how backwards he is in a sense, I think that's going to really help him, and I think we're going to see more of him more throughout the future. Now, Mr. Rose, on the other hand, I cannot not agree. I can not agree with you. I think you're right. I think between my pick and your pick, I think yours has a little bit more of the edge of really being number 14.
So wait, you're using it. I'm sorry, I'm fucked up. I'm drunk, and you're using double negatives.
Well,
so
I would say
you're saying. Wait, hold on. So you're saying you have to agree with Papo that Adam Rose would be a suitable pick for 2015's cursed number 14. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, I agree more with him than I do with you. Now, does he have a suitable case? Yes, he does have a little bit more of an argument on why Adam really would be the number 14. I think Jack Swagger has a lot of that as well. I think his story is kind of like depleted. So I guess we'll just flip the coin and see what happens. But I really don't think that Eric Rowan is done for it. You know, I think you're way off.
I don't want to say that you're wrong, but only the most bearded and most handsome of men can agree with me. So we're going to keep this ball rolling. We're speaking about the Royal Rumble, so I want to talk a couple of different things. I want to talk about surprise entrance. You know what? No. Before we talk about surprise entrance, I want I'm going to start. I'm going to name one entrant that I think is an obvious winner, and then I want each of us to name one who, in our opinion, should obviously be the winner, and a long shot, a dark horse, if you will. So starting with me, and then we can go to Papo and then to AJ. I think the obvious winner is Daniel Bryan. I think the WWE would be out of their minds to pick anybody else from Daniel Bryan. But if I was forced to pick a long shot, I would have to go with Bray Wyatt. Papo, your response, and then AJ, you're right after him.
Okay. For my pick for the winner, Roman Reigns, just because they're pushing him thus far.
Get out of here.
For the long shot,
You're
I'm
fired.
gonna go with Daniel Bryan.
You're fired. Are you kidding me? You're fired. AJ?
You're fired.
You're fired. You're fired. Nonsense. AJ.
All right.
Who's your obvious pick and your long shot?
My obvious pick is going to be Dean Ambrose.
Nonsense.
I think Dean Ambrose, they put a lot of money into him. He gave one hell of a match at Survivor Series. There was another match at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. There was the Seth Rollins match on top of the Hell in a Cell. You know, I think he brings it all. And ultimately, I think it's going to be in WrestleMania, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. That's my prediction.
Whoa. So Dean Ambrose is the guy you think is most likely to win on your perspective?
Yes. Now, the person that I think has a long shot, it's more of a surprise entry, but it's also a long shot as well.
Go for it.
I think that we could see someone at the likes of Randy Orton come back and really kickstart his rivalry with the Authority officially.
Listen, I love you guys, but you're both fired. I can't believe you're not picking Daniel Bryan. You're both fired. No severance, no pay, no unemployment. Do not Pesco. Do not collect $200. I can't believe the most cynical person on this show is the only one that picked Daniel Bryan. You guys disappoint me. But speaking of disappointments and my life compared to my father, I do want to talk about the other matches on the Royal Rumble and then also possible surprise entrants. So this is what we have listed so far. The tag team titles match. It's the champions, the Usos, versus Miz and Mizdow. Papo, who gets the win on your perspective?
I'm going to go with the Usos.
Boom. AJ?
Just because they're the Usos. Ooh, so crazy.
Nonsense. Get out of here.
All I can tell you is that I'm so Mizdow crazy. So I'm going with Miz and the Mizdow.
I'm going to go with, as much as I love to disagree with my co-host Papo, I'm going to go with the Usos because I think what's going to happen here, and this is probably your pre-show match, I think the Usos will retain, and Miz and Mizdow will lose, and then Miz and Mizdow will both be entrants into the Rumble, and I think that Miz will be the one to turn on Mizdow in the Rumble itself. But we also have the New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension. We're going to switch up the order. AJ, New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension. Who comes out on top? Go.
I think the Ascension will win.
Papo?
I want the New Age Outlaws to win, but in order for the Ascension to progress anyway, Ascension has to win. So I'm going to agree with AJ with the Ascension.
Stop it. You don't really want the New Age Outlaws to win, do you?
I do, man. I would. Oh, you didn't know?
Fired. God damn, you're fired too. You're fired again.
I am so ready to give you the big boot.
You know, hold on to that real quick, okay?
Go for it.
If the let's say the New Age Outlaws does not win, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you who I think should come out and just beat the fucking shit out of the Ascension.
Go.
It would be amazing to see the Road Warriors 1.0 come out and beat the fucking shit out of them. I would pay to see that. I'd be like, here's my $1,000 to watch that.
Are you talking about Animal by himself or Animal and High Dead Reich? High Dead Reich.
Both. The original Road Warriors. They need to come out and just beat the shit out of them.
Papo, your response to this madness?
You know, instead of the Road Warriors, they should bring back Demolition just to go ahead and knock them out.
Dude.
That Demolition, that's a good one. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Do you remember, I want to say it was WrestleMania 24, where it was Chris Jericho versus Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat with Ric Flair in their corner? Do you guys remember this match? It's the one where, it's the same year where Mickey Rourke did that movie, The Wrestler, and he came out and knocked out Jericho with his punch.
Yes.
Would have been WrestleMania 24 or 25. I think it should be the Ascension versus a 3-man team of the Barry Darsow and Ed Eady, something like that. The other member of the two living members of Demolition, because Crush is dead. And that Japanese guy, I think, no, he was a Road Warrior at one point in time, excuse me. So the 2 living members of Demolition plus Hawk from the Legion of Doom. I think that would be awesome. But
that would be awesome.
Awesome. I would watch that.
You know who else I would watch?
Wait, so long
the
as
Nasty Boys.
Don't fuck with me. So long as the Ascension fucking squashes whoever gets in the ring with them, I'm okay with it. So we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna say, because in my opinion this should be the co-main event. This should not be the last match on the card, so we'll go in this particular order. The triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship: Rollins versus Cena versus champion Brock Lesnar. Papo, starting with you, who's your pick to win this match?
I'm going to go with Rollins, just because he has a plan B, that briefcase.
AJ?
This is what I'm going to go with. I am actually going to go with the Beast winning it all. And I think you're right, Seth Rollins has a plan B, but I also think that Mr. Cena has a plan B also.
I'm going to answer this question.
Interesting.
And I'm also going to answer the next question in the same breath. So here we go. If I was a betting man, or in other words, if I had actual money to bet with, let's put it that way, my pick is that not only does Brock Lesnar walk out champion, but Seth Rollins is the one that takes the fall. And the winner of the 2015 Royal Rumble will be Daniel Bryan. So those are my picks. We've discussed our other picks. I do want to talk about other surprise entrants because we really didn't get that in depth into it. We still have a couple of minutes left. So, AJ, starting with you. Who you got for surprise entrants? People that are just going to show up and pop the motherfucking crowd in Philadelphia, of all places, at the Royal Rumble. Who's your surprise entrance?
Well, as I stated, my long shot and surprise entrance was Randy Orton. You know, I've been waiting for him to come back. I think now is a great time. You know, it's right when you have the authority that thinks they're in power, but really they're on their heels still. You know, we'll see what happens there. But speaking of Plan B options, you know, everybody has a Plan B, and you know, I think Cena could end up being a surprise entry into the Royal Rumble, to be honest.
Papo?
Well, we discussed in prior shows that Bully Ray Dudley, his contract's up with TNA. We've also discussed that Jeff Hardy's contract is also up with TNA. I mean, me, who I want for my surprise entry.
Wait. I know who it is. Glacier.
You're fired.
Oh, man. Wait. I think I know who it is. I know who it is. Main Event Mafia.
Oh, wait, that's Kurt Angle, Sting, Scott Steiner, Samoa Joe, and who else?
And God, what is his name? Wasn't it
that other guy? You know,
the bald dude. He does commentary on TNA.
Mr. Anderson.
I liked him better when he was Kennedy. I don't know. Spoiler alert, I don't really watch TNA, but I have a vague idea of who the Main Event of Mafia is. So what I'd like to do is that, AJ, you gave your surprises. Papo, did you give your surprise entries yet? Because if you didn't, shame on you, and you should do it now.
Joe's gonna kill you.
Don't fuck with me. Do not fuck with me. Are you saying Samoa Joe?
Gonna kill you.
Bro. If Samoa Joe shows up, I will pee my pants.
And you gotta record and put it on YouTube.
Well, that's a lie. I don't really wear pants. I wear a lot of basketball shorts. But I will theoretically piss my pants. How's that? So you're saying Samoa Joe? Nonsense.
That would be my surprise entry if I can choose one.
Do you have anybody else aside from the mainline Samoan in pro wrestling?
No, nothing off the top of my head. Go ahead and give yours.
Well, I, ladies and gentlemen, took the liberty before I started drinking alcoholic and adult beverages, for those only 21 and older in the States, I decided that I would come up with a list. I'm going to name them one by one, and I want to hear your each reaction. Now, AJ did mention Randy Orton. He's at the top of my surprises, although I don't necessarily count him per se as a surprise because he is part of the active roster. How about this? Sheamus. He's coming off an injury. We haven't seen him in months.
That'd be cool, though.
All right. After Sheamus, I got a couple more. What about... I'm going to go with Bubba Ray Dudley, but either member of the Dudleys or both of the Dudleys I have here. I have Finley. Could you imagine? 10, 9, 8, 7. They do the whole countdown gimmick, and all you hear is, "My name is Finley, and I love to fight." Tone deaf, whatever. We got Vader. I think Vader could show up with that fucking mask that she smoked. Why not? X-Pac. He's not a member of the Hall of Fame, and we did just see him on Raw. But here's my big prediction. And I'd bet my terrible reputation on it. I'm talking about bang! It's me. It's DDP. What would you think if DDP is an entrant in the Royal Rumble?
I think it would be a big bang, personally. I think that is really, really cool. I think it brings back the glory days of WCW. We already got Sting on board. Who else do we want to bring from WCW over, you know?
Fuck yeah, People's Champion. Papo, your thoughts?
It would be awesome to see DDP back in the ring, but I've seen his infomercial, so good luck with that.
Yo, not for nothing, but I have DDP yoga at home, and whenever I am able and have the time, dude, DDP yoga. This is not a cheap plug for Paige, but goddamn, that shit will kick you're standing still, and you feel like you just ran 100 meters. It's insane. Gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, that's the end of our conversation. We talked about Raw. We talked about possible entrance into the 2015 Royal Rumble. We got speculation going into the road to the WrestleMania. Gentlemen, is there anything else that you two want to talk about before we call it a night?
I just thought of one other surprise entry that would be kind of fun and exciting to see.
Boom, hit me.
HBK.
Nice.
Why not?
Hey man,
WrestleMania.
He takes her key and he knows he's sexy. That's all I gotta say about that.
I'd like to see him walk into the ring and do a high kick right to the face to Big Show, you know?
Only if he shows up in full hunter's gear. Like, I'm talking Cabela's, camo, the whole nine.
Mossy Oak, baby.
Deep plug. Papa, anything you want to add before I think we call it a night?
Just that I was able to download the WWE app, The Immortals, which it's pretty fun. And
It seems those are the guys that did the Mortal Kombat games, yeah?
Yes, NetherRealms. Right now I'm just testing it out so far. So in the next couple of shows or more, I'll get back to you guys and let you know how it is. But as of right now, I'm playing it and it is fun.
I haven't played it yet, but I watched the intro video, and spoiler alert, it talks about Bray Wyatt getting the magic lantern, and then Triple H elbows him in the face, and then stuff happens, and I don't know, superheroes and shit. I think that's it for this episode 34 of the Wrestling Exchange 2015, talking about the Rumble, talking about January 19th Raw. AJ, before we let you go, is there anything you wanted to add and or plug? Now's your chance.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. It was a fun time as usual, and I hope to see you guys and be part of it soon.
Listen, always a pleasure. I mean, when another guest is on, I enjoy it, not so much when it's just me and Papo, because God knows he blindly supports that Roman Reigns. Papo!
You're fired!
I'm not fired. I'm an independent contractor. I take my Z-Packs.
Right, along with his pampering. So, AJ, thank you for coming on. Keep watching, and Tetsuki will keep on taking his pampering for his cramps.
Listen, they're not just any cramps. They're really important cramps. I wouldn't have them if I didn't have to watch Roman Reigns promos. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and investing your time. I know I'm repeating myself. It's awful. I do want to ask you to go ahead and click that like button, that thumbs up. It really does a lot to help us out. Comment, subscribe, tell your friends. And as always, I don't have a catchphrase, so I don't know.
If you will.
If you will, motherfuckers. This is Ted. That is Papo. Our special guest, AJ, the phenomenal one. We're getting the hell out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Drive safe and keep both feet on the wheels. Good night, everybody.
Later.